think being a ninja spy meant rooftop battles, legendary stealth, and dramatic assassinations under moonlight. But what if everything you believe about ninjas is wrong? Because in Sengoku-era Japan, being a ninja wasn't a fantasy, it was a disposable life with no honor, no identity, and no guarantee you'd see another sunrise. You are the ghost that powerful men use when they want something done quietly, and the ghost they deny ever existed when the plan goes wrong. But the journey into this silent profession doesn't begin with a mission or a blade. It begins the moment you open your eyes. Because in this world, you aren't shaped into a ninja. You simply grow into the only life you were ever allowed to have. You are born in the mountains of Iga, where the mist clings to the earth like it has secrets to keep. Everyone in your village knows those secrets, even the children who are barely able to walk. You don't understand it yet, but you have been born into a profession before you have even spoken your first word. Your family doesn't plant rice the same way others do. They plant favors, rumors, alliances, and silent debts. Your name is whispered only inside your home, and even then not loudly, because here, sound can be dangerous, sound can cost lives, and silence keeps you alive. By the time you are old enough to understand simple commands, you are already being trained to disobey your instincts. Do not cry when you fall. Do not scream when you bleed. Do not flinch when a blade is drawn near your face. Emotion is a liability, and you cannot afford liabilities in a world where a misplaced breath can expose an entire clan. Your toys are not toys at all. They're small stones meant to condition your fingers, ropes meant to teach grip and silence, and puzzles that test your memory. Childhood is not warm here. Childhood is preparation. While other children learn stories of heroes and gods, you learn how to lie without hesitation. When others learn to write poems, you learn to code them. Hidden meanings and seemingly innocent lines of nature and seasons. The cicada sings at night, which means your handler arrives at dawn. The moon hides behind clouds, which means the plan is canceled. A single blossom missing from a branch, and you know someone has been captured or killed. Nature isn't poetic where you live. Nature is camouflage. Your training begins with your stomach. Hunger is your first instructor. Some days you are fed well, but most days you eat like a stray dog with questionable luck. This isn't punishment. This is strategy. Spies don't eat banquet tables. They eat whatever they can find, steal, or pretend they're satisfied with. You are taught to keep moving while your stomach begs for mercy, to think while lightheaded, to fight while weak, because if you only operate when conditions are perfect, then you are useless in the real world. And ninja spies who are useless do not retire peacefully. They disappear quietly. Movement becomes your second instructor. You learn to run barefoot on terrain that was never meant for bare skin. Sharp gravel paths, bamboo roots jutting like daggers, cold streams that numb your ankles until they feel like stones tied to your legs. You climb trees with trunks too smooth and drop from heights that terrify you, landing in silence or suffering the consequences. You balance on beams above shallow water because the water hides rocks that don't care how young you are. Mistakes are not just painful, they're educational. Your parents rarely praise you. Instead, they test you. Your mother intentionally drops a burning stick near your foot and watches your reaction. Your father leaves a real blade in place of a wooden one during practice to see if you notice. It's not abuse in their eyes, it's survival. Trust is not a currency you spend freely here. Trust is a blade, useful but sharp on both ends. Even among family, there is caution. When you are old enough and disciplined enough to keep the mask on your face regardless of what your mind is screaming, the lessons evolve. You learn the art of pretending to be weak, a hunched back, a slow limp, a lowered gaze, because victims are invisible to the confident. You learn to be charming, because an open smile can unlock more doors than a lockpick, and a disarming laugh can carry a lie across the room without suspicion. You learn to mimic dialects and accents, because a single misplaced vowel can expose a manufactured identity. Then comes the night you will remember forever. You are given a task, not a mission. Missions come later. Tasks are personal. Your objective is simple. Retrieve something from a nearby village without being seen or heard. The object itself is meaningless. The journey is the test. You leave with nothing but black cloth wrapped around your body and a heart pounding loud enough to betray you. Every shadow is a threat. Every dog is an alarm. Every lantern is a reminder that you are not meant to exist in the light. You succeed. Barely. A startled footstep, a held breath, a cut you don't remember getting until the blood dries. You return before sunrise and place the object at your mentor's feet. There is no applause, no celebration. He simply nods once. That nod is your reward.
That nod is proof you survived something most never even attempt, and that nod is also the promise that this was only the beginning, because now that you have proven you can move like a shadow, the real shadows are waiting for you.
You are no longer a child trained for silence. You are now an adult expected to live inside it. The first rule of being a ninja spy is simple and cruel. The better you become, the less the world can ever know you existed. Samurai wear their honor on their armor. You wear anonymity like a second skin, stitched tighter than any garment. Your victories must look like accidents, your sabotage like misfortune, and your presence like wind passing through an empty room felt but never seen. Your life becomes a revolving wardrobe of identities. One week you are a humble merchant peddling cheap lacquerware, the next that traveling monk collecting alms with a bowed head and empty pockets. Sometimes you pose as a servant, sweeping floors in the home of the very daimyo who wants your people erased. But the most humiliating disguise, the one used more often than anyone admits, is the fool, the village idiot, the slow-witted outsider who no one considers a threat, because people feel weapons, but they ignore weaknesses, and invisibility is most effective when it's embarrassing. With each new role, you leave pieces of yourself behind. Your name becomes a fading echo, your memories become lies you must never say aloud, and every friendly conversation is a trap with a smile attached. You learn to read people like maps, flaws, pride, loneliness, rage. Every emotion is a doorway, except your own. Yours must stay locked. Travel offers no romance for you. Roads are where spies disappear, sold out for coin, caught by bored guards desperate for entertainment, or killed by bandits who just think you look unlucky. You sleep where insects don't mind sharing the space. Barn attics, under bridges, beside drunkards who snore like dying bulls. If you're fortunate, you find the dirt under a shrine roof dry enough to rest your head. Your body wakes before dawn, not because of discipline, but because danger rarely sleeps past sunrise. Communication becomes an art form of its own. A poem delivered to the wrong person is harmless. Delivered to the right one means sabotage. A children's song hummed too slowly is a warning. A bundle tied with a simple knot becomes a message more serious than ink on scrolls. Paper burns, ink blurs, words betray, but knots hold secrets tighter than mouths ever could. You are sent on missions that sound straightforward until you realize simplicity is just a polite word for disposable. Collect information, steal a document, listen where you're not supposed to be. But the darker tasks strip away whatever innocence survived your training. Burning fields to starve armies of men who have never drawn steel against you. Poisoning wells that mothers draw water from. Slipping death into a cup meant for a shogun only to watch a servant take the first sip instead. And when your conscience whispers betrayal, you remind yourself that loyalty is never a two-way street here, because the daimyo who commands your clan sees you as a tool, useful until worn, valuable until broken. If you are captured, you are not a prisoner of war. You are a rumor that needs to be erased. They will deny your existence faster than you can beg for mercy. There is no rescue party sprinting through the night to retrieve you, no frantic negotiations, no bargaining chip. You are not a soldier. You are evidence, and evidence is meant to be destroyed. You learn quickly that the worst enemy is not the samurai with a blade drawn or the guard dog sniffing the air. It is time. Time exposes faces you have used. Time makes memories slip. Time betrays you with aging knees and slower reflexes. And by the time you are 29, your body carries injuries that have healed in the wrong shape, bones that remember falls you'd rather forget, scars that were never meant to be seen. You move with skill, yes, but also with pain, always with pain. Samurai retire with honor, land, and stories sung by generations. You retire by returning to a village that has more graves than elders. The skills you possess are not useful for farming, yet farming is what awaits you. You dig soil with hands that once placed blades beneath floorboards. You plant crops with the same silence you once used to plant fear. You live with people who know better than to ask questions, and you lie awake at night listening for footsteps that never come, but still feel close. There's a word that follows you until your last breath, not because you haunt others, but because you were never allowed to live fully. You were present in shadows, useful in silence, deadly in secrecy. And when your time ends, it ends without witness or legacy. No armor for your children to polish, no scroll to record what you accomplished, just a fading story told quietly by someone who isn't sure if it belonged to you or someone like you. And eventually the world forgets. The wars end, the lords die, the maps change, but your sacrifices stay buried deeper than the bodies of those who never knew you were the reason their dawn came peacefully. Because the greatest tragedy of being a ninja spy isn't the danger, it's disappearing, and knowing that disappearing was always part of the job.